How many arm wrestles do you reckon you've won in your life? Are you pretty good at it? Is it one of those things that you do when you need to win an argument that you go, okay, well, we'll arm wrestle for it? Well, no offence, even if you are good at it, I reckon this bloke sitting here in the studio who you're about to meet, he's probably a bit better than you. Jamie Carle is ranked number 1 in the country when it comes to arm wrestling. That's just cool. I've got the number 1 arm wrestler in the country sitting here in the studio. Say hello, Jamie.
Hi there.
Come on in closer to the microphone.
Yeah, hi there.
How are you going this afternoon?
Good, thanks.
Jamie is here to tell us about the opportunity that you will have this evening if you would like to beat him in an arm wrestle. And it's part of a fundraiser for the NT Natural Bodybuilders. And to tell us about that is a lady called Tanya Mace. Good afternoon, Tanya.
Good afternoon, Liz. How are you?
I'll get you to come and sit right on that microphone there, so that we can hear you. Tanya, explain to us why Jamie's here.
Okay, well, we're holding a bodybuilding fundraiser tonight to get our team of all natural bodybuilders down to the Melbourne and the Adelaide bodybuilding national championships. So we're holding a fundraiser tonight at Lizard's Bar and Grill, otherwise known as the Top Ender Hotel. And Jamie has, I don't know whether he's been offered or received some inducement to
Guest appearance. Just appearance.
to come down and support us and help get people in there and show off those awesome biceps of his.
So, Jamie, what you'll be offering people tonight is the chance to have a go at arm wrestling against you. Which arm do you use?
I use the right arm, but I can use the left as well.
Okay.
But when you say I'm the champion in Australia, I'm champion on the right arm.
Ah, so it's broken up into the different categories.
Yeah, it's broken up into the different arms, and it's all weight class tiered as well. So,
no way.
So
how do the weight class divisions work?
So you've got under 70 kilos, and then between
That's
70...
not under 70 for your guns.
No,
that's just the whole body.
No, I certainly wouldn't qualify for that.
Okay.
And so it's 70 to 80, 80 to 90, 90 to 100, and then 100 plus.
Yep.
And so I won the 90 kilo class, and then I went in to compete in what they call the overalls, which is when you compete against the winners of all classes. So
not wrestling wearing just overalls. Oh, not arm wrestling just in overalls, because that would be really funny.
Yeah, no, I wasn't wearing overalls. I was kitted out in some gym gear.
Okay.
But no, I won the overalls in gym gear against all the heavyweights as well, which was a real surprise.
You could wear overalls next time just to throw your competitors.
Yeah, I think I'll give it a thought. Actually, I'll give a shout out to you if I take the podium in overalls.
Bib and brace tonight, hopefully.
Bib and brace tonight. Very good. Why the right arm? Are you right-handed?
Yeah, right-handed, and I broke my left arm playing rugby, so I've got plates and pins all through it. But
you can still compete.
I still compete.
The left arm,
and I will compete on the left arm for nationals this year, which is in November.
And why will you do that?
Because I think I've got a chance. I came second in the WA state titles a couple of months ago, and the guy that I came second to is ranked number 3 overall, so I'll give it a crack.
When did you know that you had this special ability?
I've been
or was it a dream that you had and you had to work very hard for it?
No, I don't know about that. I think when we were kids, that Over the Top movie with Sylvester Stallone was a bit impressionable, and from about the age of 7, I beat Mum at the age of about 8, and Dad at about the age of 13 and stuff, and just had always been interested in it.
Yeah.
Whether it was at school or trying to resolve a dispute, like we said before, challenge you to an arm wrestle, and you win the dispute.
Yep. Is there an arm wrestle from when you were younger that sticks out in your mind as one that you just wish you hadn't have lost, one that you replay?
Yeah, yes, I've got one of those. I was pretty drunk one night actually, and heading towards town, and I was sort of mucking around with a mate, arm wrestling him on a rubbish bin, and then somebody in the car park said, "I'll give you an arm wrestle," and he absolutely caned me. He was a tall guy, pretty similar to myself. I thought I had a pretty good chance. I didn't realise he was a shearer until afterwards, and we had a few beers and laughed. But
he was a shearer.
Yeah, shearer. So you're saying size before. I don't think size matters at all.
Size doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't.
What matters then?
In this case, I think it's tendon strength. It's a lot of technique. It's how you have your hand strength and your wrist position and your body position. So.
And how do you learn that stuff?
Well, I guess if you're into the sport, then you start to sort of pick the sport apart, and there is a hell of a lot of technical detail in it. A lot of people just think you just get up on stage and you just want to pull the guy's arm off. That's not necessarily the case. There's a lot of intricate details in arm wrestling that make it quite interesting.
What's the most surprising thing that people would be surprised to learn about the sport?
I think people don't realise how important hand control is. So if you're able to sort of manipulate the opponent's hand and sort of take control of their wrist, it really doesn't matter how big their bicep is or how strong their lats are. A lot of it is dictated in whether you can sort of move their wrist back like that, for instance.
And so what do you do to gain that control?
Don't give away too many secrets.
No, I can't.
Come down tonight.
That's right.
I don't think people are going to have time to refine their technique too much, and we've got to give them a bit of a chance. He's the number one.
They can use two hands.
They can use two hands, can they?
No,
I was going to ask you about that. So what do you do to get that control of the wrist?
So there's 3 different techniques in arm wrestling. There's what they call the hook, then there's the top roll, and then there's the press. Now, my particular move that I do is what's called the top roll, and that's when you post quite high with your hand. You're trying to pull. It's like you're doing a massive hammer curl backwards, and so as you're pulling back, you're pulling the opponent's hand open as well as their wrist, and then you sort of roll over the top. And it's quite similar actually to that Sylvester Stallone movie Over the Top, where he's literally changing his grip and he's going over the top and he's pulling that face and all that sort of stuff.
And so how much time do you have to spend training?
I train nowhere near as much as Tanya does. She can probably tell you about how much she trains, but I train about 3 times a week at the gym, and then I have table time, which is on the table. I've got a proper professional arm wrestler.
Table time. Yeah. That's good. I like that.
Yeah, it's a catchy phrase.
So how much table time do you need?
I reckon I have about 2 hours a week.
Of table time?
And that's actually with other guys on the table, rotating and changing them out because some of the guys get a bit tired.
Do the tables have to be something special? Do they have lines drawn on them? Like, do you have regulation tables?
Yes, there are regulation tables. They're about 1 metre high. They're about a 1 metre wide. If you can picture having a soft pad in the middle where your elbow goes, and there's a hand grip on the side, and then you're just not allowed to lift your elbow off. So there's a whole lot of rules once you're on the table as well.
Yeah, wow.
Which you've got to take into account.
And do you ever wrestle girls? Do you arm wrestle girls?
I would never arm wrestle my wife. She would beat me hands down.
Oh, really?
Well, in an argument for sure.
Yeah.
But you can arm wrestle women, and there is a sport. Women do compete in the sport.
Yeah.
Women were competing at nationals, and they're now competing at a state level as well on some of the state titles. So women definitely can compete in the different weight classes.
And so if I was to compete and try and have a crack at competing against you this evening, and my guns are nothing to speak of whatsoever, but there's some technique involved. What should I be remembering? Just those few pointers to try and get the edge over you.
Yeah, I think believing in yourself is obviously one of them, and maybe use 2 hands. No. I guess the main thing is you want to set up properly. You always want to face your hand. So if you're starting to lose, or even if you're trying to win, you should never face away from your hand, because you can actually put a risk into talking up your humerus bone and breaking it. So that's probably the key thing is people
to avoid injury, don't
turn away. Always face your hand. If you're going to lose, watch your hand. And
because
face
naturally, if you just start to do that motion, the top half of your body sort of moves in the opposite direction, doesn't it? So you just have to.
Yeah, and so when that happens, I don't know if you can feel that, but it talks up right through there. It's almost like a twisting and binding sensation. So if you're going to arm wrestle, whatever you do, continue to face your hand and keep your shoulders square towards your hand. Don't sort of drop your shoulder face away and thrust off, because you could break your arm, and it does happen, unfortunately.
Do you make a living from this?
No, I don't.
Do you make money from it?
I have made money from it for sure, because people look at me and go, I can beat this guy. Look, he looks like a little weasel, and it's like I said before, a lot of techniques involve speed. Strength is obviously one of them, but I think technique can outperform strength.
So you hustle people a bit.
So hustle people. I win a few beers from them, get a bit of money from them, and take away some gold as well.
Well, my guest this afternoon is Jamie Carle. He's the #1 Australian arm wrestler. He is, this evening you have the opportunity to try and beat him in an arm wrestle. And it's all part of raising funds for the NT Natural Bodybuilders. Tanya Mace is with that group. Tanya, what else do we need to let people know about this evening?
Well,
what time do they need to come along?
We'd like people to come down to Lizard's Bar and Grill at 7 p.m. tonight.
Yep.
That's when we're going to kick off. We're going to have lots of interaction with the crowd. So there's going to be limbo, there's going to be male-female pose-offs, there's going to be lots...
Can you just explain that? Because do the boys get to learn how to pose like girls?
Well, we weren't going to
versa?
release that, but
Okay.
yes. The
Given it away.
boys will first do the boy posing, and once they've got that kind of sort of, then we're going to get them to swap over and we're going to get them to do the girls posing.
Great.
And yeah, it should be lots of fun. And I'd just like to say a quick cheerio to my trainer who's sitting out there watching.
Hello, trainer.
Carlene.
Hello, Carlene.
Now, to come down to come in and watch us all tonight, entry tickets will be for $20.
Yep.
However, if we have 10 or more people in a group, then rather than $200, we're actually going to reduce it down to $150.
Okay, so get more people along.
Get more people
the money
in.
goes towards helping you and your team.
Yes, that's
head
correct.
to where? Remind us.
We are heading to Melbourne for the INBA Nationals. We'll be competing on the 6th of October. And after that, we're still not done, so we're heading down to Adelaide for the WNBF Nationals. And HK trainers, they currently train. There's about 10 of us heading down. The majority of us competed at the event, the INBA event last week here in Darwin, and we all did really, really well. But we just need that support. We're going down. We're representing the Northern Territory. We're representing natural bodybuilding.
And you, by the way, look fantastic. We haven't had a lot of time to talk about, what you do in terms of bodybuilding, but,
She's got bigger guns than I have.
I'm going for a run and doing some push-ups when I get off air at 6 o'clock this afternoon. There's no doubt about that.
Excellent. I'm more than happy to pass on a contact number if you'd like to join us.
I don't know. That might be being a bit ambitious. Look, we need to get to the news headlines. Thank you so much for coming in and having a chat this afternoon. Have a very fun evening and good luck with the fundraising.
Can I just say there are lots of prizes up for grabs for those that come down tonight.
Sounds like a good evening. Thank you so much.
Thanks
for having us.